For 5 years. I kept finding bones in my backyard. Small ones, sharp ones, chewed ones. At first, I thought it was random. Then one day, I saw it happen. My neighbor casually tossing another bone over the fence, like my yard was his personal trash can. So I didn't argue. I didn't confront him. I just started collecting them. And one evening, I gave them all back. If you ever had a neighbor who crossed a line one too many times, hit that like button, subscribe. Because this is what happens when patience turns into perfectly timed revenge. I used to live in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Let's call it Maple Ridge. The kind of place where everything looks peaceful from the outside. Trimmed lawns, white fences, friendly waves you don't really mean. My house had a fenced backyard. Nothing fancy, just enough privacy to relax after long shifts. I worked nights, so my schedule was flipped compared to everyone else. Most of my neighbors, I barely knew them, except one, the guy next door, late 60s, always outside, always watching. The kind of neighbor who doesn't say much, but somehow still makes you uncomfortable. He had 2 large dogs, loud, restless, always chewing something. And that's where it started. The first time I found a bone in my yard, I didn't think much of it. Just a small chunk, dry, half chewed. I picked it up, threw it away, moved on. But then it happened again, and again, every couple of months, like clockwork. Sometimes buried in the grass, sometimes sitting right in the open. Each time I'd pause, look toward the fence, and think, there's no way this is random. But here's the thing about small annoyances. They don't feel worth a confrontation. You tell yourself, it's not that serious. Maybe it's an accident. Don't make it awkward. So instead of saying something, I started collecting them. There was this old plastic container in my garage. At first, it had maybe 3 or 4 bones. Then 10. Then 20. Over the years, it turned into a pile. A quiet, growing reminder that someone, somewhere, didn't respect my space. And I stayed patient. 5 years of patience. 5 years of silence. Until one afternoon, everything became clear. I had come home earlier than usual. The sun was still up, heat rising off the pavement. As I pulled into my driveway, I saw a movement. Over the fence, a hand, and then a bone, tossed, casually, like it meant nothing. I froze for a second, watched it land in my yard. Then I looked up, and there he was, the neighbor, mowing his lawn like nothing happened. That moment, it wasn't explosive anger. It was something quieter, colder, a realization. So it was you, all along. I could have confronted him right there, shouted, argued, made a scene, but I knew something. People like him, they don't respond to words. They double down. They get worse. So I didn't say anything. I just smiled, walked inside, and finally made a decision. It's time to return what's his. That evening, right as the sun started setting, I went into the garage, pulled out the container. 5 years. 5 years of bones. There had to be close to 100 pieces. Dry, cracked, some still stained. A collection of quiet disrespect. I carried the container outside, walked to the fence, paused, took a breath. Then I started throwing them back. One by one. Thunk. Another. Tap. Another. Clack. Over and over. For 30 minutes. Each throw felt lighter. Each toss felt like releasing something I didn't even realize I'd been holding on to. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. But it was deeply satisfying. When I was done, his yard looked exactly like mine had for 5 years. And then I went inside, like nothing happened. A week later, we crossed paths. First time I'd seen him up close in months. He looked at me, and I saw it instantly. That expression, tight jaw, narrow eyes, frustration mixed with something else. Realization. I smiled, didn't say a word, and neither did he, because what could he say? To complain, he'd have to admit everything he'd been doing, so he stayed silent, walked past me, head slightly lowered, and from that day forward, not a single bone ever landed in my yard again. No shouting, no argument, no confrontation. Just one quiet moment where 5 years of disrespect came flying back over the fence. Sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't loud. It's patient, precise, and undeniable. Because when you mirror someone's behavior back at them, they finally understand it. If the story hit different, smash that like button, comment below, what's the pettiest revenge you've ever seen? And subscribe for more stories like this. Because trust me, some people learn the hard way.